Recording in progress.
Welcome to our restorative practice today, in which we'll honor the hunter moon. And also we will learn a little bit about the practice in Buddhism that teaches us about the second arrow. So let's start in a comfortable seated position, like Sukhasana or easy pose. And let your body settle in. This weekend, we enjoy the first moon of autumn, so the first full moon following the harvest moon. And the Algonquin people call this moon the hunter moon or the blood moon, travel moon. And we'll start with 3 sounds of the bell. And I'll share with you a brief reading by Thich Nhat Hanh. When an arrow strikes you, you feel pain. If a second arrow comes and strikes the same spot, the pain will be much more intense. This season that we go into now marks a time for preparing for the winter months. It's a great period for reflection, release, and our own internal hunt for inner truth. And this aligns beautifully with Thich Nhat Hanh's teachings of the second arrow, which is all about our reactions, our feelings and emotions about something that has occurred, an event. So you might at times in your life experience something painful, and that would be the first arrow. But all the thoughts and emotions that we continue to have, maybe hours or weeks, months later, that's the second arrow that we impose on ourselves. And today we'll practice some softening and see if we can lessen that second arrow's strike. So let's bring our awareness to the tip of our nose. And you may wish to close your eyes. And see if you can tune in to the sensations with your breath awareness as the air flows in and out through your nose. And you can choose open or closed lips. See if you can surrender for a minute. And like observing a full moon in a silent lake where there's no ripple, see if you can let the murkiness in your mind still for just this moment. And let all the strikes of the second arrows flow out of your body. Let's quiet the ripples of the mind. And if you wish to try a mudra together, today's mudra is Tejas Light Mudra. So we can bring the base of our hands together and then let our index fingers fold inwards and touch the tips of your index fingers. And then bring your thumbs together underneath. And lower this mudra to the beautiful space in front of your heart center. And this mudra, Tejas light mudra, helps us remember the brilliant light that is always alive in our own hearts. And see with this mudra if you can envision your thumbs being like a candle tip, the wick. And see if you can let the flames emanate outwards, up through your heart center. This is a quiet, peaceful flame filled with peace and all the goodness that is you. And the other fingers could be the radiant light emanating from your heart center. And scan your body now for any sensations that are not peaceful. Where can you soften and let the brilliance of you shine forth? And let's raise our Tejas light mudra up to the sky, up to the full moon, and then let it open. Beautiful. And we'll start with some warm-up stretches. So you can switch the cross of your legs if you had your one foot in front of the other, just to help balance our hips. And we'll start with some raising of our shoulders with our in-breath, and then letting the shoulders come down with our exhale. So inhale and raise your shoulders. And exhale, release. It might feel good to do this with open mouth, inhaling through your nose and exhaling through open lips. And now let's do some rolling of the shoulders. And then switching directions. And let your chin start to come down towards your chest. And draw the base of the moon, looking over to the right, and then letting your nose or chin make the base of the moon over to the left. So a half circle, kind of like a smile. Relax your fingers. Very nice. And we'll bring our feet out in front of us into Paschimottanasana. And flex your feet. And again, raise your arms up, making the fullness of the moon. And then with your exhale, let your hands come down to wherever they do on the fronts of your shins. Relax the back of your neck. Soften your gaze or close your eyes. And breathe into any places in your body where you notice sensation. Relax the muscles of your jaws. Bring your breath to your hamstrings and the connective muscle that runs all the way from the tops of your legs down through the back of your entire leg muscle to your heels and all the way to your toes. And now come up to seated, and we're going to pull back the arrow. So raise your left arm forward. Your fingers will be together. And now bring your right arm by your left arm so that both arms are forward, and start to pull back this imaginary arrow. And feel the stretch that starts to occur in your shoulder blades on the right side. And now release that second arrow. So that's just opening your fingers on your right hand. And let's repeat on the other side. So again, bring your right hand close to your left. Relax the muscles of your shoulders and your jaws and pull back the quiver on the left side. Now open your hand and release that second arrow. And we'll sweep up to the moon and then release down. Bring your right foot to the ground, knee is bent, and bring your right knee over your left leg. Pull up through your crown and flex the toes of the left foot. Wrap your left arm around and raise your right arm up to the sky. Deep inhale and let your right arm come now behind you and look over the right shoulder. You can stay here, or you can extend your left arm out straight and let it find the outside of your right leg. Seated spinal twist. Wring out the tension in your body. Gaze is strong and soft at the same time. And now come back to the center, and right foot can find the ground, and just jiggle out your legs a little bit, awakening the lymphatic system. And now we'll take our left foot to the ground. Spine pulls upwards. Flex your right foot. Left foot comes over. Right arm comes around. And start to breathe up to the sky. And then let your left arm come behind you like a tripod. And start to turn and look over your left shoulder. And if you wish, you can extend your right arm now for a little extra wringing of tension. Maybe we're wringing out the ruminations about mistakes we've made, imperfections and flaws that we perceive to have. Those are the second arrows. Release them now. Wringing out your spine like a dishcloth. Breathe into the sensation in your body. And come back to the center. And this time, do a little gentle pounding on the muscles on the fronts of your legs. Remembering you shouldn't feel any pain in yoga. But we're just gonna awaken our legs because today's under moon practice will bring some real nice movement. And our last seated posture for now, you can butterfly your legs together. And let your thumbs find your inner soles. And again, breathe up through the top of the crown of your head. And then draw the light of the moon energy down through from the crown, through the back of your neck, all down the spine of your body. And feel the energy grounding and releasing through your sacrum, the base of your spine. And now sweep your arms up, making the circle of the full moon. And maybe at the top you find your Tejas Mudra again. So your wrists can come together and your hands are outstretched wide. Index fingers touch, thumbs come together. And now fold forward. Breathe into all the muscles that are opening in your pelvic region, your hips, the muscles in the inner groin. Very nice. And gently, we're going to come around now to a cat-cow. You can keep something soft under your knees if that feels good to your body. Or you can move, if you were sitting on something, you can move it over to the side now. The knees are hip width apart under your hips, and push up through your shoulders and open your finger pads wide. Tap the tops of your feet on the ground. And let's let our bellies drop. And imagine you're looking up at the full moon. I wonder how many of you got to see its beauty last night or even over the last few nights. And now press out the air and round your spine like the moon, the curve of the moon. And exhale all the thoughts that are really second arrow thoughts. The thoughts that don't serve you well. And now inhale and drop your belly. Gaze up and exhale, release. Inhaling to your own breath rhythm. And on this last exhale, tuck your toes under. And so if you have anything on your mat, you're going to want to move it to the side so that you create a nice firm place to do some movements. And press up into downward facing dog. If this is too intense, remember, you can always have a chair nearby. You can take some of the pressure off of your wrists and do your downward dog on a chair, or you can do it against a wall or a windowsill, and play around with this because there might be some days that you just wish to have some variation. And press your heels to the ground one at a time. And now raise your right leg up to the sky and open your hip bending your knee. And now pivot back to the center, and we're going to pull our right leg forward into crescent lunge. Inhale and let your left knee come down and your foot flatten. And now fold back into runner's lunge. And see if you can bring some fluidity into this movement. Exhaling, coming back. And inhaling, coming forward. This is a nice movement for our hip flexors and also for the hamstrings and wonderful calf stretch as well. This next time, let's frame our right foot and tuck your left toes under so that you come back up into crescent lunge. And then pull your right foot back so you can find the strength of a plank pose. Remember, you can always drop your knees and push back into downward facing dog. Deep inhale, come up on your toes, and exhale, press your heels down. Exhaling everything. Let your right foot come down towards the ground and your left leg up to the sky. And now open your left hip just for a moment and close your hip, bringing now your left foot forward. You might have to help it a little bit. And we're in crescent lunge now. Bring your right knee down, flatten your foot. Inhale and exhale, rolling back. Half split, flowing forward. Inhaling to the light of the hunter moon and exhaling, pressing back. Go to your own body's rhythm. Flowing forward and pausing wherever your body needs. And this next time as we come forward, we're going to frame our left foot. Tuck your right foot back under so you're back up in crescent lunge. Bring your hands to the ground and see what you think of your plank. Building some strength. And now pressing back to downward facing dog. And we're going to build upon this now with a little moon flow into half moon. Deep inhale. Raise your right leg up to the sky and pull your right leg forward. And this time rising up. And opening to warrior two. Deep inhale, feel the strength in your body. And exhale, reverse into peaceful warrior. And now let your right leg straighten. We're going to prepare for triangle pose. So bring your arms back to T and start to hinge forward. Let your right arm come down. And it's going to come down right around the knee area, most likely. Your ego will want it to go lower. But look at how your body will start to cave in. And we want to keep our chest area open, receiving. Now let your left arm come up to the sky. And breathe into the sensation in your body. And this is going to prepare us for our half moon flow. So at this point, you're going to want to step forward and find, depending on your body, make sure you have a chair in front of your mat space, or you can have a block, and you can have the block facing flat on the ground, or you can have the block on its, standing tall. But most likely you're going to want something to hold on to, and you'll have to play with this a little bit. So we're going to do half moon pose. And for half moon pose, the first piece is to find a stable base. So let your feet really plant into the earth. And then you're going to want to have your right hand be able to reach whatever that support is. So you'll be very close to the top of your mat. And we're going to start by lifting our left leg and balancing on the right leg. And this might be as far as you wish to go. You can find your support now for your right hand. Your left hand can stay on your left hip. So we're balancing. Or this might be the point that you wish to extend your left arm up to the sky. And see if you can raise your left leg and balance here. Find a drishti, a focal point. You might be able to turn your gaze up towards your right arm, and that might cause a lot of wobble. Half moon. And now bend your right knee and let your foot come back to the ground into your warrior legs. So right toes are pointing forward. And place your arms back out into your warrior. Peaceful flow back. And now we'll start to come down to frame the right leg. And we'll repeat this sequence on the other side. So press your right foot back. And we're in plank. And now press up into downward facing dog. And this time we're going to let our left foot come closer to the ground, raising our right leg, and then pulling our right leg through. I'm now forgetting which side we did. This feels like the same side. Let's try that again. Let's bring our left leg up to the sky and pull our left leg through. There we go. That feels like the other side. And now raise up and open to your warrior. Flow back to peaceful. Straighten your front leg, your left leg. Arms come back to a T and start to hinge forward. So now we'll raise our right arm and do triangle Trikonasana pose with the right arm extended up to the sky. And really pay attention to the feelings in your neck and your shoulder. There's no need to overdo it here. And flowing back up, peaceful warrior. And now we're going to start to inch forward so that we have something supportive, whether that's a chair or a block. Each side will be different. So for my body, I have more flexibility with this left leg, so I can put the block further down to the ground. And let's come up and just find our center again in Tadasana as we move into Adha Chandrasana, half moon pose. Find the stability in your left foot and start to raise your right leg up to the sky. And maybe your right hand finds your right hip and your left hand finds block or chair or floor if you're very flexible. And point the right leg straight and find a drishti. And now raise your right arm up to the sky. And you might be wobbling a lot. My shadow is causing a lot of wobble. Very hard if you don't have a good focal point. One more breath, and now let your right foot find the ground and come back into your warrior legs and your warrior two arms, and then peaceful warrior. Flow back and flow forward. We're moving slowly and with consciousness, framing the left foot now. Very nice. And now we'll push back into downward facing dog. Feeling the strength in your body and imagining the light of the full moon spilling down across your entire back and your spine, filling you with positive, peaceful energy. And make your way now up to Uttanasana, or standing forward fold. And then make your way up to Tadasana. So if you have any osteoporosis, you want to scoop your spine to come up instead of a rounded spine. That can be a little nicer. And let's find powerful pose or Tadasana now. So your feet are beneath your hips. Breathing the energy downward through the crown, through your entire body and into your feet. And maybe you wish to find Tejas Mudra again, so base of hands together. And then index fingers come in and touch. And your thumbs meet. You can bring that in front of your heart center if you wish. Excellent. And we're going to do a little standing crescent in honor of the moon. So bring your hands up and then intertwine your fingers and press them inside out. So I'll step back a tiny bit so you can see your hands are going to come up And now this is nice for the wrists because we did some downward dog. Let yourself roll a little bit to the right, but imagine that the front and back of your body are in two panes of glass. So if your hips are jutting forwards or backwards, or your pelvis, see if you can tuck that in. And breathe into the side body and up to the center. And then breathe and flow over to the left. Relax the back of your neck and your jaws and your eyes. And back up to the center. And now we'll gather in the light of the moon. So sweep your arms up in a circle. And exhale, let that flow outwards. And we'll do the second arrow exercise now again. This time, let's be conscious. So think of a moment in which you had something painful occur. And think of the second arrow that you may have shot. Regrets or guilt, shame, rumination. And we're going to step our right foot back and pull back the arrow's quiver. So your left arm can point forward, and drawing back with your right arm, your left knee is bent. And really think about that quiver. Letting go of the second arrow, open your right hand and release it. Let it fly away. And now step your right foot forward, and we'll do that on the other side. So step your left foot back now. And press your right arm forward and draw back the quiver of the arrow. Name what you're going to release. Something you've been carrying that is not serving you well. The second arrow infliction. And open your hand and release it now. Pew! It helps if you make a sound. Maybe throughout your day, you can notice when you're shooting yourself with a second arrow, and you can make that sound and let it go. Very nice. We'll start to enjoy a little goddess pose. So step your feet out wide. And your toes are pointing outwards. And now let's bring our hands to our hips and just start to come up and down a little bit here. See if again you can hold a pane of glass on each side of the front and back of your body so that your sacrum is going up and down. Let the energy flow up and down. Now let's cactus our arms, bringing in a little more strength. And settle into your goddess pose. Feel the strength in your quadricep muscles. Feel the strength in your arm muscles. Feel the strength of courage in yourself to let go of the second arrow and raise the toes on the right, the heel on the right foot, and raise the heel on the left foot. And now raise both and stand in your goddess. Very nice. And sweep up, circling the moon and flowing back down again. We'll do a little skindasana. So Turn your right toes to face forward and bend your right leg and really stretch into the left groin muscle. And you can do this on both sides, stretching over to the left. And if you wish, you can start to bring your arms into it, circling the sides of the moon. Mindful movement. A few more times, let your breath move your body. And now come to stillness and heel toe your feet inwards. And then you're going to come to the front of your mat space and tuck yourself into a little ball. And then let yourself start to come down to the ground and start to roll back, rolling down to the earth. Feeling where your spine meets the ground. And let your feet now come down to the ground as well. And bring your heels close to your buttocks and reach your fingers towards your heels. I'm going to do a little bit of bridge pose. So on your next inhale, you're going to rise up, pressing your pelvis towards the sky. Chin is resting above your chest and your gaze is soft. And pull your thigh muscles in towards each other. And you can do this with a block between your knees as well. But try not to let your knees splay outwards. And breathe here. Feel the strength of your body as you raise your hips towards the full moon. And now lowering your back down to the ground. Raise your arms over your head. Deep inhale. And bring your feet together in Supta Baddha Konasana. Your knees will come outwards. Knees come into chest. Wrap your arms around your knees and love what your body can do for you. Press the base of your spine towards the earth. And open your arms wide to T, letting your knees come to the right. Left shoulder stays on the ground. Wringing out the spine and releasing the second arrow. And back to the center. Deep inhale and let your knees come to the left. Let your right shoulder come to the ground and your head can slowly melt over to the right. And when you're ready, start to prepare for your Shavasana. A moment of deep rest and release in which we'll let go of the first and second arrows. So find yourself a blanket and a pillow. You can place the pillow beneath your knees. And the blanket over your body as your body will start to cool. And you might wish to put on socks now as well if you've taken them off. And if you liked that hip open, the supta position, you can do that as well. So you can, even with the pillow, you can open your knees and let them flow open a little bit. But really take your time. There's no rush here. Find a nice, comfy, warm spot and let your body melt into the earth and imagine the moonlight across your cheeks and across your closed eyelids. Imagine the moonlight taking a paintbrush and just gently sweeping along your eyebrows and along any worry lines on your face where you've held on to that second arrow and caused yourself harm with thoughts of something. Not negating the pain, the first arrow was real, but the constant thinking about it. And you let go of the second arrow, and maybe right now gently just take your hands and let your hands sweep across your brow and across the worry lines, and maybe just gently brushing your own hair with your fingertips. And then letting your hands find your heart and your belly, or traditional Shavasana, they would be palms facing up by your sides. And I'll read to you from Thich Nhat Hanh. When I look at the full moon, I breathe in and out deeply and say, "Full moon, I know you are there, and I am very happy." I do the same with the morning star. When you contemplate a beautiful sunset, if you're really there, you will recognize and appreciate it deeply. Whenever you are truly there, you can recognize and appreciate the presence of the other, whether that is the full moon, the North Star, the magnolia flowers, or the person you love. And that person that we love, that includes ourselves first and foremost. And now you have some time to enjoy your Shavasana, and I will mind the time. So we will lay or sit in silence for a bit. And I'll let you know when it's time to return to the closing of our practice. And let's start to wiggle our fingers and toes very gently. And if you wish, you can roll to one side, bringing your hands in Anjali Mudra to your third eye. Letting the nutriments of this practice wash over you. And now you can start to rise up to a seated position and generate some prana, warmth, energy between your hands. And bring your hands, when they're warm, to cup your eyes. Deep inhale. And let your hands cradle your cheeks. And bring them around in a warm, loving hug around your shoulders. And then let your hands wash down your legs all the way to your toes. And rub your hands together and ask your body, is there a place that needs a little additional healing energy from the moon? And bring your hands there. Maybe it's to your heart or any place that feels tender. And now, one last time, rub your hands together and cup your eyes. Feeling the beauty of this moment. And I'll read you again from Thich Nhat Hanh. By practicing mindfulness, by being aware, we can avoid the second arrow, the unnecessary suffering. And I'll close our practice with 2 sounds of the bell. I bring my hands together in thankfulness for sharing this practice, honoring the light in each of you. Namaste.